let me get back into Revelations 18, man. All right? Because like I said, man, these nations are getting rich off of America based upon their consumerism, man. America's a consumer-based society, man. All right? When you go to these other countries, they live differently, man. They export more than they import, all right? And they're not living as decadent as America, man. All right? A person could be middle class and they'll decide to drive a Mercedes Benz in America. All right? This is Revelation 18. It's at verse. Matter of fact, I'll read start at verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues." All right, because the elect is going to be beamed up before that happens, man. So that's what the Most High is telling them to come out of her. All right, to leave the ways of America, leave the ways, the philosophies of Babylon. Okay, to come to Him. And guess what? In that day, He's going to call them up to be delivered, man. All right. That's why in what is that? Wisdom of Solomon 5, it says what? They were amazed at the strangeness of their salvation. Because we're going to be delivered by something called what they call today the UFOs, man. So-called UFOs. All right, those lights that they see, that they catch them on the videos. Those lights in the sky. All right, they can't explain what they are. Those are the chariots of Israel. Those are the vehicles that are going to get us out of here, man, and destroy our enemies, man. All right, because inside those vehicles have angels, man. All right. And if you ask someone from Mexico or those places, they see those so-called UFOs all the time, man. That's just a common thing. All right, those lights in the sky, they expand, they get small, they get big, and then they just disappear. All right, those are the chariots of the Heavenly Father, man. Okay, let me get Zechariah real quick. Let me get Zechariah real quick. I'll finish this up and get Zechariah. All right, come out of her, my people. I'll start from 4 again. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues." And those plagues are the nuclear missiles. "For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities." All right, so let me get Zechariah real quick. This is Zechariah 5 verse 1. And it reads, "Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes, and looked, and behold, a flying robe. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying robe. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits." All right, so that's what Zechariah was seeing. He was seeing a chariot, man. All right, that was the shape of a circle, right? So what do I see? I see a flying robe. All right, which was one of the chariots of Israel, what they would call today so-called UFOs, man. All right. Then said he unto me, "This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it." All right. So it's the curse of the whole earth according to who? The heathen. All right. Because all these different heathen, that's a curse of them. Okay. Because when Israelites were always delivered, they were delivered, and the Most High would use those chariots, right? Okay, even against the Egyptians, right? He used the chariots came and put fire around them, all right? That they couldn't get to the Israelites, all right? So the chariots were always there when it came to the deliverance of the Israelites. So it's a blessing for us, but a curse to these different heathens, all right? Kings 12. 2 Kings 2 and 12. All right. This is 2 Kings 2 verse 12. It reads, and Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. All right, so that's talking about what? The so-called UFOs, man. All right, he's saying what? The chariots of Israel. Okay, that's what they are. They're the chariots of Israel. That's the vehicles that the angels use, man. Okay? Let's see, right? And the horsemen thereof. When it speaks about the horsemen, doesn't mean that they were actually on horses. The chariots are always, they're described as different things. They're described as clouds, all right? Because they can look like clouds at certain times, all right? They're described as horses, all right? Like it says when Yahushua is going to come back, he's going to come back on a white horse. But that's really, that represents power, okay? The horse represents power, okay? That's when you have horsepower in your car, okay? A certain amount of horsepower, that's speaking about the power, okay? Because those chariots, man, they're powerful, man, okay? A chariot can shoot out laser beams, can destroy a whole army, man. Okay? So those chariots have power within them. Alright? The horsemen thereof, and he saw him no more, and he took hold of his own clothes and rent them in 2 pieces. Alright? So and he took up also the mantle of Elijah that fell from him, and went back and stood by the bank of Jordan. Okay, so as Elijah was gathered up by what? The chariot, man. The chariot brought up Elijah. Elijah didn't die. The chariot brought Elijah up. Okay, just like he did to, just like the chariot did to Enoch, just like it did to who else? It was Elijah, Enoch, and they did that to the Lord as well. Okay, when you read Acts, it speaks about how the Lord was brought up into a cloud. Okay, it wasn't an actual cloud, it was actually a chariot, all right, a chariot of Israel, so-called UFO, if you will, okay? That's what the Lord was brought up into. And they said, listen, why marvel you and stare and look, gazing up into the sky? Because the same way he left is the same way he's going to come back. Now I'm going to show you that in 2nd Ezra 16th chapter. All right, this is 2nd Ezra 16. Second Ezra 16. Second Ezra verse 13. All right, and it came. 2nd Ezra verse 13 and 1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. That man's talking about Yahushua, okay? And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice. Like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. Alright? That's coming out of what? The chariots, man. Alright? So that's when we said the chariots have power. It's going to show you it's a chariot too. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the 4 winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. All right, and he said he graved himself a great mountain. It wasn't an actual mountain. It was a chariot that was so big, he described it as a mountain. Okay? Like I said, they can describe chariots as different things. All right? And after this, I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. All right, so they were scared, but they still continued to fight. All right, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came he neither lifted up his hand nor held sword nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, all right, which is talking about the chariot, as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which were prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. All right, so that's what's going to happen when the Lord comes back. Right, he's going to come in a big chariot, and he's going to actually send that beam of lightning, a laser beam down from the chariot, and it's going to destroy all those armies and turn them to dust. All right, so that's what's going to happen when the Lord comes back. All right. So with that, give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Rachak, double honors to the apostles and elders that rule well. Salutation and much love to you, Akim, out there pushing this word out, the truth and sincerity. Shalom.